Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome back my old friend Bill to the program. You may remember we filmed his Boxster, the engine swap. Bill is a serious Porsche enthusiast. You have four of them still?
4 of them now. Yeah.
Boxster, Cayman, 911, Cayenne. You've got the lineup. We need to get you in a Panamera and a Macan.
There you go.
But so this is your
space.
we're limited by that, aren't we?
Right. Yeah.
So tell me about your Cayman S.
All right, well, this is a 2008 Cayman S. It's a 3.4-liter engine. I've modified the airbox just a little bit. It's making about 295, 300 horsepower.
Okay.
But it's a light car. It weighs 2,950 pounds. Actually, this is probably the least modified car I have.
That's okay.
Because actually, after I've done a lot of work on my other cars, this one, I really love it just the way it is out of the box. You know, things I've done, I went from 18-inch wheels to 19s now. Mm-hmm. I got 19 8.5 in the front, 19 by 10s in the rear. Running Michelin Super Sports, 245 in the front, 35, and 275 in the rears.
All right.
And then little things I've done I'm a big guy with like controls, so I have a short shift kit in here. I've got upgraded steering wheel as well, and just some little knickknacks.
What is the steering wheel from?
I sent it in. It's
they rewrapped it?
They rewrapped it.
It's thicker.
Yes.
It's got a nice thickness to it.
And they added some thumb rest on there, so it's got a nice
cool.
feel to it.
Well, look, your Boxster is serious. And when you've got 4 cars, having a stock one isn't the worst thing in the world, is it?
No, you know what? The thing that, you know, at our age, all we have are stories, right? And I got hell for this last time. I'm telling too many stories, but, you know, I was looking for another one, and I was actually looking at 993s, but I had to get the wife on board with it, you know?
So what was the sell?
Well, the 993 felt a little old-fashioned to her, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I love them.
I agree. They do feel old.
But they feel a little old-fashioned.
Yeah. They're great, but they're old. It feels like a 90s body on almost a 60s car. Right,
and then the interior is from the 60s, right? So she drove it, was kind of warming up to it, but I took her for a drive in a Cayman S, and instantly...
There you go. Well, happy wife, happy life. Am
exactly.
I right?
And, you know, when you have 4 cars, you really got to have their support.
Exactly.
Or else it's hell, right?
So I reviewed a Cayman R, and that was the only Cayman of this generation that I ever reviewed.
I remember that. Yeah.
And immediately I can appreciate the suppleness of this compared to the R. The R was stiff, really stiff.
In fact, this still has the stock suspension. My 911 has PASM suspension, and it's a little digitized. I don't know. It's interesting how when the damping feels more staccato.
Did you say short shifter?
This has a short shifter.
The short shifter feels great. It's really this car. It's just like being glided along a surface. It's like you're like you're curling, you know, and I'm the stone and the curl, you know, that they're curling. You just give it one of these, and then it almost the rest of it feels completely effortless, you know. It's such a fluid thing. 6,000. Hang on, we're checking RPMs here, Bill. 7,000. Nice.
It's got a good pull, right?
It's got a good pull. It's not crazy fast, but it's certainly fast enough to have a really good time in.
Well, Porsches are really meant to live above 4,000. You know, 5 to 7, they really take on another character.
Well, some engines, you know, when you keep the revs up high, you end up with a lot of vibration in the cabin and stuff like that. In these cars, the car doesn't feel any more stressed at 6,000 RPM than it does at 2,000 RPM.
It's so smooth.
It's got to be the Boxster design and the fact that it inherently eliminates vibration.
Yes.
Like I can just drive. I'm at $5,000 right now.
You can leave it there all day.
Why not, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't feel stressed at all. Now
brake pedal's very tight.
I do have the stock suspension on here, and I wish it was maybe a half-inch lower, to be honest, but this suspension is so good. It's supple, yet still handles great.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful compromise. So I really just...
Well, look, you've got your project car with that Boxster, so if you want to start doing crazy suspension stuff, you've got your mess around car.
Exactly.
This thing it's got to be universally good, you know.
Right.
You drive it into the city, you go to LA, you go to Beverly Hills. The roads suck down there. You don't want this thing beating you up that bad.
And this is a great road, and the car feels real solid, right?
It's really, really strong on this road. With these back and forths, the Caymans really love that. And what is it? What is like? So what is 32,000 miles? What year is this car?
This is an '08.
What could you buy a similar car for like this today?
Well, I've seen these range a Cayman S, depending on the mileage. You know, higher mileage, probably dipping into the 28 to 30 range.
Oh man, that's a lot of car.
And then, you know, but for something with low mileage, maybe still a warranty on it, you're probably looking at mid-30s.
I mean, this is so much car for that kind of money.
Brand new, this car was 70 plus.
Yeah. Oh,
you know.
Bobcat.
Yeah.
Bobcat around across the road. But it loves going back and forth, and if there's a bump mid-corner, it's not upset. And the power delivery is so linear that I think it's not going to really get ahead of you,
Yeah.
you know?
This is one of those cars, because I've driven turbocharged cars and whatnot, and there's a finesse in a turbocharged car where you're almost afraid to give it full.
Yeah.
You're almost afraid to really punch it because you're not sure when it's going to come on or having too much torque. But this car, it's a momentum car plus
it's got a little
wind
power.
it out, yeah.
And oh boy, I've put us on a bad turnaround here. Okay, hang on. And that car just went, so we're just gonna pause real quick, give him some room, so we can enjoy the car. Here we go.
All right.
So you bought this car new, right?
Actually, no.
Oh, you didn't?
I'll be honest with you. I buy all my cars used. I'm really, because I tend to own them, so I don't like taking the depreciation hit necessarily when you buy a new car.
And you're a driver. You're not a garage queen kind of guy. You don't really sweat the miles, do you?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I like cars with a low mileage, but you know, anytime you buy a used car, you got to interview the previous owner.
Yeah.
And the previous owner in this car was kind of a nerdy guy. He was kind of quiet, and I took a test drive, and I asked him, "Do you ever use a sport button?" He's like, "Oh no, the car's way too fast for me." And I was like, "Sold."
Perfect. Sold.
Because I know the guy. I drove it to over 7,000 RPM, and the guy was freaking out.
Did you press the sport button? Oh, okay, yeah. I get sport button. Okay.
Yeah. This has sport chrono on it, so
I forget. What do you get for sport chrono? It's more than just the clock,
the throttle
right?
response, and then you get like, well, our iPhones or whatever are so advanced now with tracked,
right?
You know,
yeah,
recording.
you don't really need
you don't
that.
Need all that stuff, but I definitely like the throttle response that picks up when you push the sport button.
Well, the power delivery and just it's so linear and good and
it's predictable.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really predictable, and also it's got such a high quality feel to it. I mean, I know that the Cayman and Boxster were part of the Porsche cheapening period, but you wouldn't know it to drive the car. The car feels great.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned when you drove the Cayman R, you said it was a little too hyperactive, you know.
It was stiff. I mean, that was a couple years ago. I think that was 2012, but I just remember going, you know, if this was a Cayman S with a little more power rather than a Cayman S with a little more spring and damper, I think, I mean, I know it's the R. I get that.
Right.
But it was just...
Well, they also tune those engines to rev higher.
Yeah.
So they moved the torque curve a little higher as well, so...
Oh, I just remembered the Cayman R. It was almost $90,000.
Yeah.
That was where I was like, okay, you've lost me here.
Right.
But, I mean, if you think about this car in terms of being a $35,000 car, or best case scenario, a $40,000 or $45,000 car, holy hell, is that a ton of car?
It's really one of those cars that, like you were saying the other day, you love to be in a car that makes you laugh. It makes you giggle like a girl, I hate to say it, but this car, I've been in so many situations where I swear I am about to go off the cliff.
Yeah,
and it takes
and
the corner,
makes it.
And the wheels don't, the tires don't even squeal. And I'm like, wow, I had a lot more in there than I thought. So it's a car that always surprises you. It keeps, you know, I've owned this one for over 3 years, and I'm still impressed with it.
And you know, a lot of people today think about something that's analog and something that inspires confidence as mutually exclusive. Confidence can be inspired by all-wheel drive systems or ceramic brakes or some crazy traction control stuff, or analog can be, or confidence can be inspired by a car that just does what you tell it to do. And these cars are so good at, like, you saw, I got in this car, I haven't driven a Cayman in years. I get in a car and I can maintain a pace totally comfortably. I can heel toe without even thinking about it. And it's just like right here, look. You know, to be able to get into a car and perfectly
Rev-match.
heel toe in 2 seconds
Yeah.
is not necessarily the mark of a good driver. It could be the mark of a great car.
No, like I was saying earlier, I'm really into the relationship between controls. Some cars you get in, the clutch is too light, the stick's too heavy, the steering's too light. Where these cars, they feel really well balanced.
Yeah.
And the pressure and tension you're using to drive it. So
Exactly.
it makes it a joy.
It's got feedback, and yet if you get stuck in a traffic jam, you don't want to kill yourself. You know. I don't want to sit behind this guy, but we're almost at the end. So do you have any other plans for the car? Is it lacking in any areas that you want to address down the road?
You know, this isn't my primary car, so I'm probably going to keep it as is, to be honest with you.
Thank you. He's going to be upset when he finds out I'm just going right
here. But so far, the Cayman S, it really meets the hype. I don't think I've read one single bad review about the car. Ever.
No, no one has anything bad to say about this car, except that it's a
car.
pain in the ass to work on yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
if
been
you're
told
not, if you
that.
don't have the tools, but
Look, I don't wrench for nothing, but people who own these cars have told me that.
I've been doing it long enough that you get to know all the tips and tricks.
But it's great. It's pretty much exactly what I expected, and it's great. Thank you, Bill. And
thanks, Matt.
We're not done with Bill yet. No, really, don't say like you're going yet. We're not done with Bill because Bill brought me 2 cars today. So we're gonna drive his 911 Carrera 4S. I don't know if you'll see it tomorrow, but it's coming. See you guys later.
Take care.